Some mornings, the silence in this wooden house feels heavier than the walls themselves. I wake before the sun most days. At 1:02, sleep comes in pieces, like old photographs scattered across a table. I lie there listening to the quiet hum of Virginia's countryside outside my bedroom window. No cars rushing, no children arguing, no husband coughing beside me like he used to. Just the soft ticking of the clock in the hallway and the sound of my own breathing. That breathing reminds me I am still here. My name is Clara Whitfield. I am 102 years old. I live alone in the same wooden house my husband and I bought nearly 70 years ago. The paint has faded. The porch leans slightly to the left. The floorboards creak as if they're whispering secrets from decades past. I am a widow. I have been for 28 years. And today, I want to tell you the loneliest truth no one warned me about. When you are young, people talk about success. They talk about love. They talk about raising children, buying homes, building careers, chasing dreams. They warn you about heartbreak and failure. But no one pulls you aside and whispers, "One day, you will outlive almost everyone you love." No one tells you that the hardest part of a long life isn't wrinkles or aching knees. It's the empty chairs. I used to sit at this kitchen table with 5 other people, my husband at the head, 2 children on one side, my sister and my mother visiting often, filling the room with laughter and opinions and the smell of fried chicken. Now, I sit here alone with a cup of tea that cools faster than I can drink it. Loneliness at 30 feels temporary. Loneliness at 50 feels inconvenient. Loneliness at 102 feels permanent. That is the truth. I remember when my husband Thomas passed away. He was 74. I was 74 too. We had grown old together, or so we thought. I believed we had reached the finish line hand in hand. But life had other plans. The day he died, the house didn't just become quiet. It became unfamiliar. I walked from room to room as if I were visiting a stranger's home. His slippers were still beside the bed. His reading glasses rested on the Bible near his chair. I kept expecting him to clear his throat or call my name. Grief is loud at first. It crashes into you like thunder. People visit, they bring casseroles, they hug you tight, they tell stories, you cry together. Then slowly, they leave, and grief becomes quiet. That quiet is where loneliness moves in. I thought I understood loneliness when I was younger. I did not. Loneliness in old age is not about having no one around. It is about having no one who remembers with you. You see, memories are a language, and when the people who share your memories disappear, you become the only one fluent in that language. I can still recall the exact way Thomas laughed when he was pretending not to be impressed. I remember the way my daughter used to slam the screen door every time she ran outside. I remember my mother humming while she kneaded dough, but there is no one left who remembers those exact sounds the way I do, and that is a lonely place to stand. If I could sit across from you right now, I would take your hand and tell you this: do not rush your life. When you are young, you are always in a hurry to grow up, in a hurry to prove yourself, in a hurry to leave home, in a hurry to find love, in a hurry to succeed. But at 102, I would give anything to slow one ordinary Tuesday from 1965, just one simple dinner, one argument about nothing, one long drive with no destination, We spend our youth chasing extraordinary moments, but it is the ordinary ones that ache the most when they're gone. After Thomas passed, I considered selling this house. My children insisted I move closer to them. "You shouldn't be alone, Mama," they said. I tried. I moved into a small apartment near my son for 2 years. It was modern, clean, safe, but it never smelled like my life. It never echoed with my history. I felt like a guest in my own old age, so I came back here. Back to the creaky floors, back to the leaning porch, back to the ghosts of laughter. Living alone at 102 is not brave. It is not dramatic. It is simply my choice. I would rather be alone with my memories than surrounded by noise that does not know my name. But here is something else no one tells you. Independence becomes heavy. All my life I prided myself on being strong. I raised children. I buried a husband. I worked when I needed to. I learned to fix small things around the house. I told myself, "Clara, you are capable." And I am. But strength at 102 looks different than strength at 40. Now, strength is getting up slowly without falling. It is carrying groceries one bag at a time. It is accepting that some days the jar will not open. The hardest lesson of my later years has been this: allowing help is not weakness. I used to reject help because I didn't want to feel old. Now I accept it because I understand something deeper. Letting someone help you gives them purpose. When my neighbor's granddaughter brings me soup, she thinks she is helping an old woman. What she doesn't realize is that she is giving me something far more valuable than soup. She is giving me connection. If you are younger and listening to me, please hear this carefully. Visit the elderly in your life. Call them. Ask them about stories you've already heard before. Because one day, you will crave someone to ask you about yours. There is another loneliness I must speak about. It is the loneliness of invisibility. When you are 102, people stop looking at you as a person becoming something. They look at you as someone who has already been. In grocery stores, they speak louder to me, as if age stole my understanding. In waiting rooms, they talk around me instead of to me. The world moves quickly, and I move slowly. And sometimes I feel like a shadow in daylight. But I am not just an old woman in a wooden house. I am a girl who once danced barefoot in the rain. I am a young bride who blushed when her husband looked at her. I am a mother who stayed awake all night beside a sick child. I am a friend who kept secrets and shared dreams. Inside this 102-year-old body lives every version of me. Do not ever reduce an elderly person to their wrinkles. We are entire lifetimes wrapped in fragile skin. If I have any regret, it is not about money or missed opportunities. It is about words I did not say. I assumed there would be more time to apologize, more time to forgive, more time to express gratitude, more time to sit and listen. Time is not promised in the quantity you imagine. I outlived my siblings. I outlived friends. I even outlived one of my children. There is no pain like burying a child. It feels unnatural, as if the order of the universe has been disturbed. After that loss, something inside me changed permanently. I stopped fearing death, not because I wanted to die, but because I understood that life does not obey fairness. It simply unfolds. At 102, I no longer ask, "Why me?" I ask, "What can I still give?" And here is the surprising part. Even in loneliness, there is purpose. I write letters to my grandchildren. I record little voice messages for my great-grandchildren so they will remember the sound of me. I sit on my porch and wave at neighbors walking their dogs. Small gestures, small offerings, but they matter. The loneliest truth no one warned me about is this: you will lose people. You will sit in rooms that once felt alive. You will ache for voices that no longer answer. But if you allow it, loneliness will carve wisdom into you instead of bitterness. I had a choice after my husband died. I could shrink, or I could soften. I chose to soften. Soft enough to cry when memories come. Soft enough to laugh at myself when I forget why I walked into a room. Soft enough to let the past visit without letting it imprison me. If you are afraid of growing old, let me tell you something gentle. A long life is not a curse. It is a responsibility. You carry stories no one else can carry. You become a bridge between what was and what is. You are proof that survival is possible. Yes, it is lonely sometimes. Yes, nights can feel endless. Yes, I miss being held. But I have also witnessed 102 years of sunrises. I have seen wars end. I have seen technology transform the world. I have held babies who grew into grandparents themselves. There is beauty in staying long enough to see cycles complete. When I sit by my window in the evening, the sky in Virginia turns a soft orange that reminds me of all the evenings Thomas and I spent watching it fade. I still talk to him sometimes, not because I believe he answers, but because love does not evaporate with death. Love changes form. If you remember nothing else from my voice today, remember this: do not wait to love loudly. Do not wait to forgive completely. Do not wait to sit beside someone who won't always be there. And do not fear loneliness so much that you avoid depth. The deeper you love, the deeper you will grieve. But I would rather grieve deeply than have lived shallowly. At 102, in this quiet wooden house, I have learned that loneliness is not the enemy. Regret is. So live in a way that leaves you with memories, not apologies. One day, you may sit in a quiet room like I do now. The house may creak, the clock may tick, the chairs around you may be empty, and you will close your eyes. When that moment comes, I hope you can whisper to yourself what I whisper every night before I sleep. I loved well. If you can say that, then even the loneliest truth will feel gentle, and you will not be afraid.